Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on another episode of the Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions podcast. My name is Darren Brown. I'm senior content producer here at Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions. And this podcast is all about telling you about the programs that we have at the Cheyenne and Arapaho tribes. And today we have our folks from the R.E.Sp.E.C.T program. Hey. Hey, it's good to have you guys here, right?
How you doing?
Thanks for having us.
Right. Could you guys, we'll start with Jesse and go around the room and introduce yourselves.
I'm Jesse James. I am the director of the R.E.Sp.E.C.T program.
I'm Eugene Blackbear III, wellness technician.
It's Caleb Gilbert, the wellness tech and sports coordinator.
All right. Again, like I said, I'm so glad you guys are here. I know, man, it's we call people, we'll say, hey, be great to have them here. And they go, we'll be there on Monday. And then, it just, I know everybody is busy, and that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have, You never want a program that's not doing anything.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I know you guys are busy because you always have events. And they're, I think, people, actually, we were talking just a few minutes ago, Jesse, would you give us a quick history of what R.E.Sp.E.C.T and kind of where it started, and you got to tell people where the word came from.
Okay, so R.E.Sp.E.C.T started back in 2005. I believe Perry Romanos, Christine Levi, Eddie Hamilton, they all helped come up with the R.E.Sp.E.C.T program. Oh, and Jerry Whitlow. They all came up with it.
And it stands for, I know this.
Recreation, exercise, sports.
For the elders.
And
children.
Elders of children of our tribe.
There you go. All right. So it said 05, right?
Yes.
And that sounds like a long time, but it's really not, right? So what was the what is the mission and the mission of R.E.Sp.E.C.T?
Our mission is to help our youth, our tribal youth, and our elders to be more active, be more healthy. We do direct assistance and stuff. We want to keep our kids out there in sports, recreational activities, elders. And we're trying to get them more healthy and active instead of just sitting at home. Our mission, our goal is to help bring more natives together. And we don't just, our activities and everything we have are for all tribal youth in our area. And most people think it's just strictly CNAs. But we try to reach out to our youth in our area because, we have so many different tribes in Oklahoma.
That's true.
Especially in this area.
So one of you guys, could you guys give me a quick rundown, just throw out some events that you guys do? I know there are a lot of them, and you know them better than I would.
Yeah. So coming up, we'll have our Elders Day in February, and then we'll start doing our spring break activities for the kids. That'll be in March. Then our basketball season will kick off.
It's almost like basketball season is year round out here. It seems
It
like
is.
it. There
right now
are.
it is.
I know that that one thing that when I first came to the tribe, that's the first thing I noticed was like, wow, it's like everywhere you go. So I played basketball as a kid, and then I realized that I wasn't that good, So, no, but anyway, that's a whole other story. But it's just a lot of these kids out here, man. That's their whole lives, and it's amazing. There's so much talent out here. But I think people didn't know that's not all you guys do, right?
Yes.
What else you got going?
We usually have open gyms in the evenings, like on Wednesdays and Sundays.
I know that you guys play volleyball out here.
Yeah, we do volleyball. Trying to get cornhole going during the lunch hour. So that's another activity. We're hoping how we do volleyball for like C-suite. We're hoping to do cornhole for C-suites. We're trying to come up with different activities for people out here, especially during the lunch hour, to be active. That's our whole goal, is to get all of us more active. I always know I can be more active. But yeah, we have numerous activities we do. In March, we have our basketball starts off for our 7th and 8th up. We been doing our 3rd to 6th grade since August. Easter this year is in March, so we'll have 3 Easter egg hunts in March, along with our spring fling.
Well, explain what that is. Spring fling.
Spring fling is a activity for youth K through 5th grade. We have several different programs come out during that time. They run their own activity. It's just, we break them up in their grades. We group them. They go around to each activity throughout the whole thing, entire time, and just have fun. It's a physical day for them to be active.
Yeah. You can't, just like, I have like 2, my kids are older, so they're out of the house, but my dogs, I want to get them really tired and run around so they sleep at night. I'm sure it's things, with the kids, it's like, it's the same type thing, it's like when they're, first of all, when they're doing physical activity, they're not doing other stuff that they don't need to be messing with,
Yeah.
And so, but also it's good for the body, it's good for the mind, and I think it's good for the soul, especially the older I get, I realize, when I'm doing something, I'm busting a good sweat. I'm like, I feel like I'm getting something done, So I know that, as I said earlier when we started, or maybe it was before, I can't remember, we were all talking. So this is a program where you deal with elders too, but it seems like a lot of what you do is on the youth. And I know from working with children and youth that if you don't like doing it, you can't do that job. So tell me some of the things. Tell me, Caleb, tell me what you get from working with these youth, man. I mean, they teach you stuff too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get to learn the new slang.
I guess that's good and bad.
Yeah, they do keep you young. I like being around the kids. It's always fun. Listen to them talk and joke around, and they kind of look up to you.
Mm-hmm. And that's some pressure, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because it's like, well, if they're looking up to me, then I got to act right. I mean, let's just be honest. It's whether you realize it or not, man, kids are always watching you, and that's a tough lesson to learn because they just do. But as many kids as you deal with, which is over the years that you've got, it's probably in the thousands now, right? And the cool thing is you get to see them grow up. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, I know that in the short time we've been here, when we first got here, we dealt with kids that were in high school, and now they're already through high school, and some of them into college, and some of them working. And I'm like, see them working out here, and it's like, now I feel old, But what's that like?
Some of the kids that used to play basketball for me, they're all parents now. Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them went to college and got their two-year degree, and they're doing pretty good now.
Yeah, and it's cool to know to think that you had a hand in hopefully keeping them on the right path,
Yes.
Because, with all the kids you deal with, I'm sure some have, obviously you have so many different situations. Some, they come in, they got the great work ethic and, but in some, they haven't had that opportunity they haven't had the, let's just say they had different family situations, and you got to deal with that. I mean, how do you, because we're all totally different, thank God. How do you guys deal with that?
I don't know. We have our activities and everything. All the kids come up and they talk to us. We talk to them. It's just getting to know them, to be honest.
Man, I'm so glad you said that, because you can't help the kid if you don't know anything about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Once they come to our events, usually they start coming to all the events, and they're asking whenever the next activity is. Then you just get to know them. Like, me and Caleb's been here 10 years, and it is crazy because I got hired when I was 23, and all those kids I first started with now, they're grown. They're in their mid-20s now, and so it's weird. And you get to know these kids and then watch them grow and develop. During this time, especially during their younger years, you don't know their home life.
Yeah.
So our activities and stuff that we do, I mean, we just hope we can get them outside their community, outside their house, and just to have fun. Whether
And
that's just a day.
outside this box that that the colonized school system places on them.
Yes.
I'm not going to preach here, but I'm going to step up my soapbox for just a minute. I was telling somebody, I was talking with a teacher not long ago that I interviewed when I first got out here for the tribes years ago, and I ran into her just a couple months ago at a cultural day we had, and she was talking about the same type of thing. She said, so many of these kids come in with so much potential, and I see it when they're in grade school. And she said, now I see them later in high school, and some still have that spark, and some of them, but some of them it's gone. And I said, I don't know how it is or how it happens or why it happens, but something with the something in the school system, the public school system we have, somehow it tends to pull all the creativity and some of that spark. Have you guys seen that? And so I when I tell kids, I'm like, don't lose that. And when we're young, the world is wide open. We think, we talk about being astronauts and presidents and all these things, and we talk about being artists, and somewhere along the line, the school system says, well, maybe you ought to set your expectations a little bit lower, and they buy into that. And so I think, with jobs like you guys have, it's really important that you tell them that they got to keep those options open, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, with kids and especially like Native youth, I've worked for Youth and Family Services previously before R.E.Sp.E.C.T. Our Native youth, it's like it's almost like a confidence thing too. Natives, when you go around them, they're not very talkative at first. And then once these kids get to know you, oh my gosh, some of them just talk and talk and talk.
Is that true, guys?
Yes.
Tell you a lot of stuff that you don't even want to hear, probably.
Yes, for sure. We do strength and conditioning, and I drive out to Watonga and pick up Gary and pick up Calumet, and I have to hear everything that happened that day. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's one thing. That's one thing. You talked about, mentioned transportation. If people who are watching this and listening don't know that Concho was on the far eastern side of the tribe's service area.
Yes.
And so we have tribal communities out 9, 10 counties out to the west of Oklahoma.
Yeah,
I mean, in the western Oklahoma.
West and northwest. Yeah.
And I tell people, and if they didn't know that western Oklahoma is largely rural, and in some cases, if you don't have good transportation, then 100 miles may as well be 300, 400, 400 miles.
Yeah.
And so what, since R.E.Sp.E.C.T. and a lot of programs are based in Concho and some in Clinton, but since a lot of things is based here in Concho, you have to bring those kids here. And I know that we've talked with you before about doing some stuff with our program, and you've been generous to say, well, we could help you with that if you need us, because we do for transportation purposes. Let's talk about that. I mean, that's a lot of it's a direct service that you provide, and you have to provide if you're going to continue with the mission of your program, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a absolute, even with elders, it's an absolute must.
Yeah, absolutely, elders, yeah.
We have to have the transportation. If we don't do the transportation, then these kids won't ever make it to the event. So,
and if they don't get to the event, then you can't, bring you can't bring that positivity into their lives, right?
Yeah, I mean, we go out to Woodward.
And that's not an easy drive.
No, it's not, and it's long. Third lives in Watonga, so he takes usually the Woodward, but actually, Bruce Whiteman, his crew helps us out a lot on transportation.
That's good to know. Yeah.
They'll go out and they'll drive that Woodward pickup because there's only 6 of us. One of us has to be at the event or wherever we're going to before the rest of us. So I drive, Caleb drives, Third drives, Lucian drives, Ashley drives. Usually the office manager, which is acting now, is Stevie. She'll go to the location where we're supposed to be at first. Then the rest of us go, but like Lucian will go pick up Hammond.
And that's not an easy drive either.
No.
It's not a difficult drive. It's just not close.
Especially if we're going to Oklahoma City.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah.
And that's picking up Hammond, going down I-40, and I mean Woodward's a long drive too, and it's a
and that
long
ends
day.
up being like a good chunk of the day.
Yes.
Before you even get started on the day's activities.
Yeah, I mean.
And then there's ride back home.
It's starting out in the morning, and usually our pickups are very, very early because we have to make multiple stops. So it makes a long, long day for our riders and our drivers.
It's a good thing you guys are all kind of young, right? It's a young man's game.
Right.
Hey, you know what you mentioned, and I didn't think about it at the beginning. We have 3 of you guys here, but there are more people in the Respect program. What you talk about them?
Yes, so I have Lucian Twins Jr. He's actually our Clinton site coordinator. I have Ashley Charlie. She's actually full-time now. I just made her full-time. She's out in Clinton, but once the Geary ERC gets cleared,
Oh, really?
I'm putting her in Geary.
Okay.
So we'll have Respect in Geary. Third here in another week or so, 2 weeks. He will actually be at the Watonga ERC running
really?
Respect
All
out
right,
there.
all right.
So we'll now have 4 locations.
Wow. So that sounds cool, but that just means there's more stuff happening.
Yes.
I guess there's but since Concho has the largest gym, you will still be doing a lot of transportation here this way, I'm assuming. But Clinton has a gym.
Yeah, Clinton has a gym. All the off-sites, I mean, they'll have their own facility. We're the main facility. Since our gym is so large, and especially for most of our events, we have to have an area that large. Concho will be our main. But no, my goal is the events, like if we have volleyball out here, I want to have volleyball in Clinton, with volleyball in Geary, and Watonga. If we have an open gym for men's one night, I mean, that will happen in Geary and Watonga also. Everything that I have out here, my goal is to have in the other communities, to bring the same thing. So it's not just Concho.
Yeah, man, 4 locations. That's cool. That's very cool. I'm glad to know that. We talked earlier about direct services, and I like one of you guys talk about what that includes. And my question is, I think my question, and you can talk about it, but that includes as I assume it's like you help families with athletic gear and stuff like that, shoes. Is that how that works?
It's leads, sports and recreational, anything. I mean, that's usually in high school we'll help with the equipment. It goes off a percentage, especially for their equipment, because the equipment's so expensive. But yeah, we help with the league fees, recreational. I mean, that could be piano lessons all the way to football. We help.
Yeah, because someone said something about like band shoes, band shoes for marching.
Yeah,
which I wouldn't have thought of because we're always talking about basketball.
I've got asked about band shoes too, in which I know a lot of them because I'm from Watonga. Watonga was big in band. We had to have black boots. That's what it was, and we had to march in those. And so I know band has to have shoes. We can help with that. Any sport, and it's not just one sport. It's a kid could play baseball, football, basketball, cross country, track, and we will help with each sport. So, I mean, they did a shoe for us for each sport. And it goes off their grades. So, I mean, high school is up to $120. 7th and 8th is $110, and 3rd through 6th grade is $100.
And see, to some folks, $100 doesn't sound like a lot, but I'm just telling you, it ain't cheap. I mean, like I said, I don't have to do with that stuff anymore when my kids are grown. But even my kids, one of my kids was in choir. Hey, man, I had to buy stuff for that. And at some point, my daughter was in cheerleading, and they nickel and dime me to death.
Yes.
I mean, I said, baby girl, didn't you just get a new outfit last year? brand spanking new, and now they're going to change. I'll see. Don't get me started. And it wasn't like 100, but it was like twice that plus. So, there's so much stuff like that. Can you guys think of something else? There's something else we didn't talk about that you do pride as far as direct services?
We help with sports frames. So if you require glasses or anything to play, you can get assistance with us through that. What else? Oh, we do like college athlete assistance. So if
Really?
you complete your sport that you're playing, the coach will type up a letter saying you passed your glasses, you did well throughout the season, and then we can help with I think it's like $500 assistance like that.
Now we're getting somewhere. Well, let me ask you this. What sticks in my mind, because we just did it. It seems like this happened last week, but I looked at the calendars 3 months ago. We had the Halloween Carnival.
Yes.
And I was just like, it was just such a huge thing. And like I said, I've gone out there and shot video of it many times, and each time I'm like, man, this thing, is it bigger than last year? I mean, it's just, and the thing is, there are so many people who show up and families. They see a lot of families there, and everyone is having a good time. And I caught you for a quick interview, and I know you were busy, and I know you guys were busy too. And let's talk about that's something like that, man. That's not easy to pull off, right?
No, it's not. It's a lot of work.
And I think you told me that you had so much help from other programs.
Yes, I had 22 sponsors for everything. It does get bigger and bigger each year.
That's not necessarily a good thing. Well, yeah, I guess it is. You get more people, but it's more moving parts.
Yeah, it is. I mean, each year it's gotten bigger, and that's not just the carnival. I mean, that's people showing up.
It's more hot dogs, man.
It is, and it's a lot. It's a lot of work to do. It really is, but it's being out there and actually seeing the people laugh and have fun and enjoy doing that, because it's a free event. Everything there's free, and I've had other communities talk, asking about that event and the cost of the event, and I'm like, you don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. How many zeros is that?
Yeah.
So what did you guys do? I saw you guys, but I know you're running around. What did you guys do at the carnival?
So Clinton and Watonga, we all just got a booth at one of the games and set up, handed out candy. But Concho was crazy big.
It was.
I don't think I got to see half the people.
Yeah.
I ran the haunted house, the trail.
Oh, that was awesome, by the way. I just want to tell you, hey, I rode on that. It was like a hayride thing, and there were some legit scary points, man. It was great.
Yeah, it was cool. But yeah, I was over there all night, so I didn't get to see my daughter.
Oh yeah.
Oh
man.
Or anything. So, but yeah, it was a good turnout.
Did you have a big part in it? Third?
I cooked 1,000 hot dogs.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Passed out candy. Did the haunted trail.
1,000 dogs, man.
Yeah.
Did you have any left, or were they just gone?
It was gone.
God, people are probably grabbing 10 at a time, man. I think how people are. Well, see, stuff like that. I mean, I know that things that we do when we do big projects. It's like you put so much of yourself into it, and at some point you think, God, I don't know if it's going to be worth it. But really, all it takes is, and in our case, people saying, "Hey, man, I really enjoyed that piece you guys did," or I shared that a bunch of times. But in your case, it's like people come up to you in person and telling you, "My kids had a blast," and they had more fun here than they did going door to door trick or treating, stuff like that. What does that feel like, right?
That's a good feeling. That's what pushes us to keep going and making the event bigger and better each year. It really is, especially having people say, thank you for putting that on, or that was a really good event. My kids had fun, or even adults enjoy it. It's just a time for the community to come together. And at Concho, it's more than just El Reno there. It's all the surrounding.
I've noticed that because
Yeah.
I've interviewed people from, well, you go there and you think it's Concepcion or Reno, but it's Calumet and Kingfisher, even folks from, Gary Watanga show up,
Yeah, Oklahoma City.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
there's numerous people that show up there. And it's a good feeling. That's what keeps basically us going and pushing forward, because it takes a lot out of us during that time, because we do 3 of them.
Mhm.
But overall, I mean, we get those done, and we hear the comments, we see the pictures and everything, and videos of everyone posting. I mean, it's just a good time.
And I know, like I said, that you can do so many events that I don't even know, but I know that the other one I think about when I think about Respect is when December rolls around, I'm thinking about getting my vacation, right? But I know that you guys are here going out to these tribal communities and picking up loads of kids and bringing them in to go tubing in Bricktown or going ice skating in downtown Oklahoma City. And I know that I think Adam has gone and shot some video. And I think I went to one of them, shot some video years ago. Talk about that. I know you mentioned bringing kids in, and you have to listen to them all. But I don't think this can be overstated about what we said earlier. What we talked about earlier is about the fact is, man, you always see that meme that says just be kind, because you don't know what people are dealing with. But I said one time, it was shortly after I got here, and I'd been to a number of events, and I just talking to kids. We did a youth camp years ago, and then it hit me. I said, man, and I'm not just talking about Native kids. I'm talking about the kids in general. It's like, you really got to be careful what you say, because you try to be positive with them, because the positive thing that you tell them, that may be the only positive thing they've heard all week or all month, And so I know we touched on it about, you're focused on building community within the Cheyenne and Arapaho community, but that includes, we got a lot of kids, we got a lot of Native youth. Let's, if you guys would discuss, I mean, I know you don't say things like, okay, now you go play with him. That's not how you work it, Now you two be friends and talk. That's not how you work it. But there's got to be a way that you make things happen within those groups of Native kids, right?
I mean, honestly, it's like when we do our events, kids, they meet each other. They're all from different communities. They meet each other, they talk, they become friends with each other. Usually, so this past December, we haven't done it in a couple of years, the snow tubing and the ice skating, because we would pay for everyone to have go ice skating. And then we would have like maybe half of them, or not even half out there, and the rest just sitting there. Or snow tubing, we would have to help carry up tubes for kids. And I'm like, going up those stairs is a lot, up and down with tubes.
But I know you do do Christmas activities.
Yeah, so our past one this year, we did the Thunder Game. We had 250 kids.
Wow.
And that was a lot. But
how many chaperones did you have to take? Every one of you, right? Plus some.
Yeah, we had 25 chaperones. Well, I actually had to go get 2 more tickets for the bus drivers.
Oh, okay.
I had 2 guys drive the Darlington buses. Thank goodness for Darlington letting us use their buses.
Wow.
Because we already paid for 2 charters. So we had 2 charters, 2 school buses, and then all of our vans out driving. So it was a lot. But so altogether, we had 277 people. And it's a lot, especially, kids want to get up, take off, and
yeah.
So
elders are like that too.
Yes, they are.
They don't want to be chaperoned, man.
Mm-mm. Man, that day.
Hey, when I get that age, at this age, I don't want to be told what to do, man.
Oh yeah, elders. For sure
I've been on an elders trip before. Anyway, I'm sorry, but like I think what I was asking was, does that them in community and getting together? First of all, a lot of it I'm sure it has to happen organically. You can't force people like I said, now you two be friends. You can't do that.
Mm-mm.
But I think there's, even though they come from different communities and different towns that are literally hundreds of miles away, they probably find a lot of common stuff. If you're stuck on a bus with someone for 2 hours, you're going to find something to talk about. But there's got to be something. Do you guys have the opportunity? I can't speak. Do you all have the opportunity to sit back and watch that happen? And what do you see when it does?
Yeah, I mean, we really, I mean, it's.
Well, how
Native
do you
kids.
encourage it?
Actually, I mean, we just put them together, to be honest.
just-
Put them together and they just click.
One of them will know one, and then they'll kind of introduce them to their own little clique or whatever. But like doing our strength and conditioning, just picking up the kids, and I go to Darlington, pick up all them kids, and then they're like, "Hey, are the Wetumpka kids or the Geary kids coming today?" Like, at first they didn't really know each other, but now, like, month in, they're like excited to see them and just do the activities with them. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But I mean, I don't really think we do anything. Just kind of sit back and they figure it out themselves, really.
But I'm guessing you figured out how to avoid. I mean, if there are two kids who don't obviously get along, you probably figure a way to work around that, right? Even though maybe that's a rare thing.
Yeah, so far we haven't even ran into something like that.
That's good. That's awesome. That says a lot. I think that says something about the program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing we kind of run into here and there is, all natives joke and tease each other.
No.
And so that's something, that's just something that, I mean, times some of them.
Hold on. Let's get that one more time. Everybody be quiet. Okay. Now we're back.
It's just something, I mean, sometimes they get their feelings hurt and they kind of go off, but then they'll be right back with that same group.
Yeah.
So it kind of works out for itself, to be honest.
Yeah. I know. I can see that, different communities. And if you give somebody some friendly, you mess with somebody, I mean, it may take them a minute to go, oh, I think they're joking. They better be joking. Okay, they are joking, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, I've seen a Facebook somewhere, a meme or something that said something about, hey, if Native people aren't talking about you and not joking with you, then they don't really like you. Is that true? That is true.
Yeah, it is.
I noticed, we all, what a boring place this would be to work if we weren't giving each other some grief all the time.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this. If you haven't noticed, I like to talk. And so I don't want to, I want you guys to talk about, what are some things about this program that people don't know that maybe the services you do provide, or maybe if someone has a child who maybe is shy and they're not sure. We've said so many good things about the program, but how do you convince someone to say, look, we're going to take care of your kid. It's going to be okay. How do you invite people? Do you even have to really invite people? Do people know who you are by now?
Most people know who we are. I can say this. Usually even with Elders Day Out, we can release a flyer and we are sitting there watching our signups the whole time. Give us 2-3 hours, we're full.
Wow.
So our stuff gets removed. People are like, hey, we missed it. Caleb's been posting, hey, at the end of the week, we're going to release a flyer. Just trying to get more people out there. This year for Elders Day Out, we mailed out postcards. We got addresses from enrollment, mailed them out. It was a lot of work, but we got, we're probably, almost full by the time we released it on Global and on our social media. I think we only had maybe 70 spots.
That's not a bad problem to have. And you know what? Here we go. It just hit me. We've spent all this time talking about kids. Well, and the elders are a big part of this, right?
Yes.
Because it's about keeping Native people healthy. And you can't be healthy if you don't move. These bodies were made to move, believe it or not. And I know that let's say when, and I'm just making a broad generalization here. I don't want to get in trouble, but I'm just saying, you know, elder folks want to get together. They always want to get together, and you know, three little ladies on the corner going, yeah, you know. So there's all that. I lost it now anyway. Anyway, but how do you convince, or maybe you don't have to. I don't know, but when you talk about being active, you know, do you run into some resistance, or how do you have to? Because you can't say, okay, all the elders, all you folks 60 and up, now we're going to go play volleyball. You know, it's not like that. It's how do you, I mean, but man, weightlifting for elders probably is a good idea in moderation.
Yeah.
But how do you, how do you have to tailor your programs to get them interested in physical activity?
So it was like last May, I just threw the idea out there saying we're going to have a cookout. And it was going to be a cookout style. We were going to have numerous activities. And it's not just physical, it's cognitive. It's trying to make them think and using the memory and everything. We did volleyball, which was seated volleyball for them. We did cornhole, a bucket toss, dominoes. What else did we do there that time?
Do we do that over the head?
Oh, yeah.
That one's always fun.
It was like the over the head, like the little basket has all the balls in it. Anyways, they had to pass it back and forth.
Oh, okay.
We had a couple more. Oh, we had like a puzzle or something they could do, and each activity has a prize to it.
Oh, nice.
So that's the way
We're going to rack up those prizes.
Yeah, that's the way I got them to be active. We did it this past December, but man, if we don't have the help, it's hard to run every game, every activity, and it's a lot to do.
But what kind of response do you get from your elders?
Actually, majority of them actually in May enjoyed it. December, they enjoyed it. The bingo, we had a hiccup with the bingo. We did like a Christmas song bingo. And when they played it, they can mark it. So Stevie sent Ashley in to make copies of the bingo cards. And she's seen all the papers, so she just grabbed one and gave it out to all the elders. So everyone had the exact same bingo card. So ran into that hiccup. Of course, on Christmas, you know, we hand out a gift. The activity-wise, they all enjoyed it. Like Christmas activity, we did like tic-tac-toe. Mm-hmm. And we made that into a tournament for them. We did like the blindfold, where they have to scoop like their cotton balls and stuff. They enjoyed that.
When are you going to do something with them young elders? Hey, like me. No, I think it just, there's, like I said, I knew what you guys did, but I didn't know the depth of it, you know, and I think, you know, you can look at it, but then, you know, until you get to talking to somebody, you don't know exactly how much work is going into it. Like, you know, people see the stuff that we do here at Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions, you know, and they think, oh, that's cool. You know, why'd it take you a couple weeks? I'm like, no, that took like 3 months. You know, I mean, you know, just an episode of Frybread Flats, you know, puppet show. And there's just, I mean, people just don't know. I mean, with other programs, unless you're inside, you don't really understand, you know, what goes into it. But I think the great thing about this podcast is that it gives me, because I'm sitting here, and the listeners, really a back, you know, an inside seat, you know, to how you guys put this thing together. I want to ask third over here, man. So you guys open another location, and you're going to Watonga. This is exciting times, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, do you see like, I mean, are you already like thinking of things you can do there, or where do you guys see this R.E.Sp.E.C.T going from here?
When I get there, I'm trying to get all the kids from Watonga and maybe Canton, Sealing to come over and just do a bunch of activities for them, multiple activities.
Because it'll be a little bit closer.
Yes.
Yeah. At least, especially to Canton. Well, Canton and Hammond, yeah.
Yeah.
How far is Watonga from here?
38 miles.
Yeah, okay. See, you just, boom, threw it out there. I know you take that road, then you turn, then you go there. But if you take the highway, then you go here, you know. But I mean, and you guys, you guys both. What else? What else you see Respect doing in the future? I mean, obviously, I mean, do you? I'm sure there's, like kind of we do at the beginning of the year. You go, okay, that worked, that didn't, that type of thing.
For, I mean, you talked about basketball. Everyone sees Respect as a basketball program.
Yeah.
My goal is to add in more sports. Goal's been to add in golf, softball, baseball, volleyball, esports. Just the whole thing. I got to find coaches.
Yeah.
Coaches willing to volunteer their time and do that. And it's a lot. It is. It really is a lot. But I mean, when we travel and we go to tournament stuff, the program pays for the food and the travel cost of everything. Except for
That's a lot. I was trying to whistle. That's a lot.
I've gotten to the point where if our teams want to go to more out-of-state tournaments, they have to fundraise their food costs.
I was about to say, y'all going to have to chip in a little something.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot, especially if I start adding more sports in.
Yeah. Y'all going to have to sell some meat pies. Hey. So get Third to help you cook us some more dogs, man. Not that type of dog, you know what I'm saying?
First thing he thought it was puppy.
Yeah. Oh, Caleb, what you think about? What do you got any plans for, I mean, where do you see Respect going from here?
Just growing, really.
Just more kids?
More activities.
More stuff.
More everything.
Yeah.
I think all the new gyms is going to be pretty cool. Like, I know when I was younger, Reggie and them would take a van and come throughout El Reno and other towns and pick us up, and would go to Watonga and play during the night. So I think just getting more kids out there and starting different activities for them. That's gonna be pretty cool to see.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but she's new. So is this what's it called? You call strength and conditioning? Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that's a new thing, right?
Yes, it is.
And are you running that?
No, it's Marcos and.
Yeah, Marcos comes up with the workouts.
Marcos from
Diabetes Wellness.
Thank you.
Yes. I was going to do it for my 5th and 6th grade basketball team. And I talked to him about it, and then I started thinking about it. I was like, more kids besides just my girls' team could benefit from it. And so we opened it up, and I didn't think there was going to be that many kids the first day because we just kind of threw it out there.
Yeah.
And we had like 27 the first day, and now we're up to like 50.
Wow.
And it just keeps growing from there. So
we have to build a new fitness complex. So and that's such a thing. What's that?
Said you would think they wouldn't want to come back.
Hey, that's a good sword.
Yeah.
It's a good kind of sword. And that's something you guys. That's a partnership with the diabetes.
Yes, and our program in Diabetes Wellness actually collaborate a lot.
Probably,
together.
Almost it kind of goes like this.
Yeah.
You fit. I mean, it's same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. We have that, and I'm trying to develop an activity in a day for kids with special needs. Those kids.
That is a great
out.
idea.
And so let
me just say
goal.
that again. That is a great idea. Wow. See, things are happening. Golly. Golly. Well, Jesse, Third, Caleb, man, it's been great to have you guys here. And before I go, and is there anything I missed?
Actually,
I'll see. There we go.
I actually want to go back.
Okay, sorry.
Back to our direct assistance.
Oh yeah.
So he mentioned we do this sports and rec. Sports and rec, as I said, it could be physical sports, or we could do piano lessons, band, swimming lessons, dance lessons. I mean, it goes to numerous things for kids to do. And that's something that,
to me, that sounds like a lot, but I'm thinking about the money. I'm thinking, how do you do that?
So we go.
I don't want to get in. I'm not trying to make this a whole money thing. I just think
it's a lot. It really is. And my goal, so I gotta think outside the box. How can I increase that direct assistance for these kids? Because everything's gone up. Everything's so expensive now. they get $150 from January to June, another $150 from July to December. That's only $300. And $300 isn't going very far anymore, especially with all these kids that play on traveling teams. Traveling teams can go $2,800. So
Again, that's a lot of meat pies.
it is. It
A lot
really
of Enden
is.
tacos.
So they have that, and I'm trying to figure out ways to increase that,
Yeah.
whether that's going to be us cutting back on some of our events to increase the direct assistance.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know that I'm so glad you made that to make it a more inclusive thing, because it was, some years ago, Gary Farmer was out here at the Tribes. I think he was here for the Colony Powwow. But your buddy, yeah. Uncle Brownie was out here, man. So we had him in this studio, and we just talked, interviewed him stuff. And he's from Canada, right? Right? Isn't that where he was from? I think
It
quite
was from
sure.
Contra.
Yeah, right up by Hammond there, over there. No, I one thing he talked about, which I never even thought about until then, but he talked about. He said something like, paraphrase. He said something like, a lot of tribes help out with sports. He goes, and they're beginning to help out with band and stuff. He said, I think he's said something about. I'm thinking Canada, but he said something about the tribe where he came from. They do a thing with kids who are into acting, and I thought, mind blown. That's something, that's because not every kid is an athlete. Right here, hey, I'm one of them. but no, but kids, there's so many That's what's amazing. There's so many varied talents. Some kids are, great in debate or band or vocal music or theater or stuff like that. And so it's so encouraging to see you guys do that. So anyway, so you guys seeing how to expand the program, but I just want to throw that one out at you. And hey, Uncle Brownie said it, so
Yeah, I mean, we do. We actually help a kid with she got something for modeling, and we
that's a
help
good
with
one.
that.
Wow.
We have kids that do choir, so I mean, I've branched it out to cover the sports and rec because not
Man.
everyone is an athlete.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
Wow.
We have our camp and clinic assistants. That's a $300 total for the year. They can use it however they want, whether that's band, church camp, strength and conditioning or skills training. They can do it that way. The only thing we don't help with is gym memberships. But they can use that $300 however they want. And so we have that. Told you the athletic shoes, and with high school or kids in the school sport, we can help with equipment. College student, we have elders assistants. They get up to $200 a year, and they can use that however. Most of them use it for a gym membership. But honestly, if they wanted to go take swimming lessons or piano lessons or some kind of lesson, we would help assist with that.
Man, that's awesome. So it may say recreation, exercise, and sports, but it's really, you guys are trying to help. I mean, this is a huge, undertaking. You're trying to, what's the word? You're trying to help the whole person, WHOLE, from man, that's awesome.
Trying to broaden that horizon for all youth and people. Yeah.
That's awesome. And like I said, it's a very ambitious thing, but I think just from talking to you guys, it sounds like you're up to the challenge. So again, I thank you so much for you guys being here. And man, we could go. I feel we could go another 30 minutes.
I got one more thing.
Hold on a second. We might.
We help with CDIB and CDIB2.
All right.
The CNAU. And our program's not just for our district. We help with kids all over the U.S. So
wow,
we have numerous apps that come from out of state. So we help with them too.
Okay. You sure you're done? No.
Yeah. I got it all covered now.
All right. Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Here we go. We're closing out this episode. Hurry up, somebody cut Jesse's mic. And the Cheyenne and Arapaho Productions, we will see you guys next time.
All right, thank you.
Aho.